All right. Hello, Deuterium. Hello, Axolotl. Welcome. Um, I don't exactly have a super airtight plan for this stream, just because I don't know. I really don't want to go down to Ash Lake. I don't want to have to fight the Stray Demon and not use the slab without a bleed weapon. I don't want to have to like kill all the undead dragons or the Black Hydra or whatever. So I think I am gonna dupe the dragon scales, but I don't know. That feels wrong just because the dragon scales. The point is that they're rare, right? I don't know. I'll just dupe them. It's fine. Hello. Is your name pronounced? Is it Aora? Eora? Please correct me if I'm horribly wrong. Hello, Hawkbread Tree. We literally just started, so I would say that's early, yeah. I think I'll grab the dragon scale in Blighttown and just dupe that one. That'll be the easiest to get. Aora. Okay. Good. Good to know. Thank you. And I'll probably grab the longbow and then buy some standard arrows from Andre on my way. So, should be a pretty simple run, but I don't know. This weapon gets hated on a lot just because it's amazing for like 2 bosses, one of which you have to fight before getting the weapon. And then it falls off really quickly if you don't upgrade it, and because dragon scales are so rare, it's really hard to upgrade. I'm only duping in the interest of saving time on stream because I'm not very capable of streaming for too long, so. The resin for the tail cut? Oh, you mean, I've never done it that way. That way is scary, so I'm just gonna grab the longbow and the basin. Kendrick made a song about Drake. Is that the bit? Hey, Krista, I thought you were supposed to go to sleep, but I am glad you're here. I think the requirement is 1610, and it doesn't scale at all, so there's literally no reason to go above that. I'll probably just pour everything else into health and stamina. Is that the name of the stream? I could have swore. Actually, no, I shouldn't do it like that. I could have swore is how good is the Drake sword. Okay, good. That was worrying. Like the stream, then go to sleep. I mean, I always try to start the stream at 3 p.m. PST. So yes, I usually stream at this time. At least I try to. Sometimes I'm a few minutes late. Sometimes I don't stream at all. And on days that I don't normally stream, I also try to start at 3 p.m. But sometimes it's a little bit earlier. Sometimes it's a little bit later. I wonder if it's a good idea to run down Blighttown now and grab the scale, or no. I'm gonna go ahead and grab that when I fight Quailag. I mean, to be honest, it's less craving routine and more that I just want it to be easy for people to remember when I stream, or to know when I'm going to stream so that they can, know whether or not they're going to be able to join. It's more of a practicality thing than a schedule thing. But, it is also nice to have that routine to do this once a week. I would love to do this more than once a week, but I don't know that I am capable of that. I don't know, just the energy that streaming takes and the planning and everything. Oh, well, yeah, but again, that just comes down to, also, I took fall damage there. I didn't know you could do that there. I just mean, oh my god. It still goes for off days, right? Like, if I'm going to stream on a day that I don't normally, it's going to be at the same time as if I was going to stream on a day that I normally do. So, catch these streams by accident, that's understandable. Let's see if I can do the thing without dying this time. Can't believe I died trying to do that last time because I tried to quit out as I was in the air instead of opening the menu first. There you go. I almost forgot to uninstall my mod before starting this, which buffs the sword significantly. Um, I mean, it's not incredible, but it does give it scaling and stuff, so it's like a usable weapon. I think I gave all the dragon weapons scaling, all the ones that didn't have scaling anyway. Oops. If there were any dragon's weapons that didn't have scaling, I don't need to fight you. Okay, well, I changed my mind. I need to fight you. Oh. Ah. Pardon me. I was doing a randomizer yesterday with, well, I don't know if I should spoil that, but I was doing a randomizer yesterday for another challenge runners video. And I kept like trying to check spots that don't have items in the base game, but that I added items to in my mod, which was very confusing. Yeah, I chose 3 p.m. PST because that's like, 6 p.m. EST. It's not too late for a lot of people who watch my content, but it's also like early enough, um, you know, that hopefully people are out of work by now, that kind of thing. Yeah, so the for some reason when you are over the elevator spot, the stable ground is set to above the elevator instead of below it. I don't know why that happens, to be honest. It's just a quirk with how Dark Souls handles respawning when you quit out. Such a polite backstab. I don't know if I would call it that. Hi, Judas. Welcome. What enemy would I remove? Probably the grubs from the eggs, from the egg bearers. Just because it makes killing not Ingrid, Ingi annoying. That's kind of it. I don't know. Oh, I forgot to grab the bow. That's the whole reason I came down here. Whew. Oh, pardon me. Excuse me. I don't know. There aren't many enemies that I find particularly annoying, and the ones that I do find somewhat annoying, like I don't know, the dragon butts or whatever, the game would just not be the same without them, so I wouldn't want to remove them. So the only one that I can think of that I find annoying that doesn't significantly impact the game is the grubs, and it's just more of a convenience thing than anything. So I don't have to talk to Ingi every single time. The clam. It's pretty easy to make it not go in the boss room, to be fair. Oh, singular enemy? Um, one of the grubs that spawn when you kill Ingi. I don't know. Or maybe the skeleton beast next to the second bonfire in the Tomb of the Giants. That one's pretty annoying. Wait, the Black Knight is still coming? Help. Wow. I don't know. I kind of just adopted the path that generally makes it not come into the boss room with you into my normal runs. Or maybe one of the bone towers next to the silver serpent ring. There are just too many of them. It's really annoying to grab that ring, so I never do it. Also the fact that you have to jump there in the pitch black, and it's kind of a trust fall there, but I don't know. Once you know it's there, it's not that bad, and you can find it by going down. It's just hard to explore that area. So that's another reason I don't usually get that ring. Maybe I should grab that this run. It's not like I'm gonna need the favor and protection ring or Havels or anything. So, oh, one thing I didn't uninstall from my mod is the fact that the Covenant of Artorias and the Orange Charred Ring are now permanent passives once you have the rings in your inventory. I would have to change code to change that because I didn't remember to back up my file before I changed that. So that will apply to this run. I don't know. I don't think it matters, but that is something to take into account. Also, my ring textures are a little off. I don't know if I picked up any rings, but that's because I changed the ring textures because I added rings, and because of how the format works, there's a limit to how many colors you can have in the file. So that's also worth mentioning that my rings will look a little bit different when I pick them up. I don't know why I went this way. This is the least easy way to go doing this, but this is fine. What about that ring? I did move it into the darker garden, or darker basin rather, but it is not passive. Using Git, I mean, it's just me working on it, and I do have backups for everything else. It's literally just that. Actually, did I back it up? When I uninstalled my mod yesterday, it didn't uninstall that file, which is weird because I did completely reinstall the game, so I'm not actually sure where that file is. Oh my goodness. Rats. Let me just do that. Pardon me. Pardon me. I probably should have bought some arrows, actually. If I need them, I can go buy them from the undead merchant. How many feathered arrows would it take to cut off the tail? I don't know. I might as well go buy some since I'm here anyway. The rats are deceptively dangerous only because they hadn't... Jesus Christ, why can't I talk today? Just because they attack so insanely fast. They attack way faster than the dogs. I was admittedly kind of apprehensive to make the Covenant of Artorias passive just because like removing a ring slot is part of the gimmick of that fight. But I did make that fight harder in a different way. So hopefully that will make up for that. I don't want to spoil anything, or rather I don't want to spoil too much for the mod. I just want to give like overview. But once my mod is done and people have a chance to play it themselves, then I am definitely going to do a stream covering all the changes that I can remember in the moment. Okay, purchase. Yeah, standard arrows, that's plenty. $50 feathered arrows? I mean, it's like, I thought it was like 30 wood arrows, right? With a short bow. Oh, I don't have the stats for the longbow. What are the stats? 14 dex. Okay, that's fine. I don't know if I have a quantity stored right now. Come on. There it is. I do have a quantity stored. You miss a lot? Yeah, that's fair. I will eventually do Dark Souls 2 videos. I have one that I'm working on. But I'm really bad at Dark Souls 2, so I am admittedly apprehensive to do a video on it. I have rolled off the ledge before kicking the ladder several times. Several would be an understatement, actually. I've done it a lot. I need to activate the Drake. What am I doing? I just didn't want to have to fight the Taurus demon, and I wanted the longbow. That's why I went around, but... yeah, I will eventually definitely do quite a few videos on Dark Souls 2. I might start with the highest DPS weapon, which would be the Mastodon Halberd, Dark Infused with, isn't it Resonant Weapon? I don't remember. Oh, there's the Drake. I forgot it was here and not past that fog wall. Yeah, when I first played Dark Souls 2, my muscle memory for Dark Souls 1 and 3 was all terrible, and then I went to 3, and then I couldn't go back to 2 for a long time. Um, but since I played all the games, for hundreds of hours each, it's become easier to switch between them on the fly. Um, I'm not sure. Okay, I know where it's going to activate. I was going to say I'm not sure when the Drake will activate, but I think I figured it out. Should probably kill this guy before I attempt to shoot off the tail. Hey, a Titanite Shard. That's not useful at all for this run, but it would be sometimes. Oh, those are bolts. I confused myself. I know what I'm doing. Probably. Okay. I don't know. Are these enemies going to come down here? It sounds like they're on their way, but... Okay, no, they're not. Okay, they're just like turning around, which is weird. I need to remember how to do this. Like that. Ishin the Glock Saint. I hated that boss in my first playthrough. It's fine, but in my first playthrough, it was so annoying and terrible. I ended up just using the loaded umbrella to cheese him. I think I did also use the Drake Sword for my first playthrough up to Quelaag, which is partially why I use a +0 Drake Sword damage on Quelaag, which is, I believe, 72 damage a hit for two-handing, as like the baseline for a decent weapon at that point in the game. So like if a +5 weapon does at least 72 damage against Quelaag, then it's not a bad weapon. Is my bar that I've set for myself. I didn't say nothing was. Oh, I see. Sorry, I didn't read that before I said that. Um, I don't know. It does feel unavoidable, just because if you're not used to deflecting at that point in the game, which admittedly it is very difficult to get that to that point in the game, without being very good at deflecting. But if you're not used to deflecting, or if you're not particularly good at it yet, which I definitely was not, in my first playthrough, like, yeah. uh, Admittedly, if I had fought, well, I don't know. I think I did actually fight Owl Father before fighting Ishin in my first playthrough. I don't know. Anyway, now it's easy because I'm good at deflecting, but when I was not, it's very much an annoyingly difficult fight, in my opinion. Very engaging gameplay, I know. Looks like it's all bone. I don't know. I feel like you'd feel something if an arrow pierced a bone. I don't know. I think it makes at least a little bit of sense. There's like nerves and teeth too, so if it's more like a tooth. So if it's just like a nail, then it would make a little more sense. Which owl? There are two owl fights. There's owl. I don't remember actually. Owl Father is the one. There it is. Is the one that you need to like unlock or whatever. Okay, this sword is shockingly heavy. Good damage though. That's all that matters. I'm gonna get. Well, no, I don't think I need endurance right now. I'm just gonna go vitality first. Great Shinobi Owl. That's right. Yeah, Owl Father, I was able to first try in my most recent playthrough, which I think was my third playthrough. The Drake, I believe, does grow its tail back if you leave and come back, but it doesn't You can't like get another Drake sword. I might die. Cool. I don't know. I like Sekiro. I think it's really fun, but you really have to be in the mood for it. Okay. Demon of Hatred was annoying the first time I fought it. Um, but if you don't, I don't know, it's weird. You have to treat it differently from the other bosses in that game. But I think if you understand how the fight goes, and can adapt to it, it's really fun. I had a lot of fun with Demon of Hatred. One of the fights that I don't like would be like, I don't know, I was gonna say Orin, but I actually like Orin. Yeah, the tail is grown back, but it doesn't give you another. Are you kidding me? That's extremely unlucky. It's folding screen monkeys. I like Guardian Ape. I think Guardian Ape is fun. Oops, I just took a game bar screenshot. Go away. I hate game bar. I wish you could. I I've uninstalled it before. Like I force uninstalled it by just like deleting the files or whatever. But then every time I press the button, it just gives me an error, which is even more annoying than having the game bar pop up. Anyway, Guardian Ape is another one where it's like if you don't know how to do the fight, it's really annoying. But if you do know how to do the fight, it gets really interesting and fun because like you can rely on deflects, for the Guardian Ape, and I think that makes it a lot more fun. You just have to be aware and ready to run from the grabs instead of trying to deflect them, obviously. There we go. Flaming Bull. I think the one of the bosses that I would say I definitely do not like, would be the ogre, and that's just because of where it is in the game, right? Because when you're learning the game, I think dealing with a grappling enemy off the bat is not good, especially when you're about to fight a bunch of mini bosses and such that rely heavily on deflecting as part of their strategy to defeat them, right? So I just think because of where the ogre is in the game that it's bad, as opposed to the fight itself. The fight is fine if you already know how to play the game, but otherwise it's ugh. Darn, I wanted the gate to close on the hollow. Like if the first ogre you encountered was in the castle during the siege or whatever, I think that would be a lot better. But just because it's so early in the game, when you're still learning how to deflect and when you should deflect, and it's just like, okay, no more deflecting for a little bit. Have fun. Especially when the optimal strategy is just to constantly jump away. I don't know. Not good. I think I fought Butterfly before Gyobu. I don't know if I fought it before Ogre actually, but I think I think she's a better um fight to do before Ogre. Um, but I got stuck on the Makiri counter tutorial guy. What was I gonna level? I guess Vitality, just Vitality for the rest of the game. Shrek? Question mark. Oh, also the drunkard just before the butterfly is really annoying. That one got me stuck for a while too, just because there's so many enemies there. And I know you're supposed to have the guy help you, but then he just dies while you're fighting the mob to the drunkard, and it's just not helpful. It can be sometimes. Sometimes you get lucky and you survive through the whole thing, um, especially if you're able to kill the crowd quickly. But I don't know. And the lead up to the drunkard fight too is really annoying. It's just like like what is it? Like 10 enemies leading up to the crowd fight. It's just not great. You got a crowd leading up to a crowd. Excuse me, please. Thank you. Ugh. Everything's fine. Oh, ochre, right. I don't think any of the drunkards are particularly fun fights, only because I think there's only three of them, right? Because there's the one with the monkeys, there's the one in the first memory, and then the one in the second memory. Either way, I don't think any of them are very fun fights. Come on. Just because they're always surrounded by a ton of really annoying enemies. One more. Did I get a chance? Now? Oh my god. There we go. You know, this was, oh my god, my first gargoyles fight. I used this weapon, and I feel like that is decent damage for the gargoyles. I think that's about the kind of damage they expected. Um, and because of that, having the Drake Sword there makes sense. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the Drake Sword in terms of its placement, like with game design and everything, because like most people aren't gonna cut the tail off the Drake early on in the game, right? But it's there for the people who know it is there, and because of the internet, that was quite a few people. And I don't want to say this ruined anyone's playthrough because I don't think it did. Having experience in my first playthrough, wow, that skybox is kind of messed up. I've never noticed that. Having experience of using the Drake Sword in my first playthrough, I don't think it ruined my first playthrough at all. It taught me to like use different weapons or change my weapon when it felt like I needed to, and I did do that several times. I used the Drake Sword, and then after Quelaag, I switched to what did I switch to? I want to say I switched to the Claymore. I don't think I used the Claymore that early. I don't know. I switched to something after Quelaag. I think maybe I used the Lightning Spear for a little bit or something. Anyway, and then after that, I used the Claymore once I started fighting Ornstein and Smo. And then I fought and then I got a Black Knight Sword and used that. Or I got the Black Knight Sword really early on, but I didn't end up using it until after Ornstein and Smo. Because I know I did beat Ornstein and Smo with the Claymore. Oops. Oops. Everything's fine. Yeah, that knight just kind of follows you wherever. I don't think it has like a leash point or whatever, or a leash distance rather. So it just kind of follows you. Might as well just go straight down to Quelaag. I have never understood the love for this Zweihander. I used it in my second playthrough. It was fine, and I didn't really ever use it again. I think I did a stream with it. I don't remember. No, I think I didn't use a stream with it because I was going to do a Giant Dad playthrough. um, I really don't like this Zweihander as much as most people do. It's just not that fun to me. I don't know. It's a pretty basic greatsword, ultra greatsword, which means kind of eh. Oops. There you go. Can you buy infinite repair powder from anyone? Because if you can, I'm gonna buy some and then try to use the weapon or some. Yeah, Zwei is decent, and that's kind of it. There's nothing special to it. And I've always preferred the greatsword too, so. Halberds, some halberds are great. The halberd sucks, but most weapons in the halberd class are pretty great. I can't believe people are, you know, there's only been two, like, Drake the rapper references. Rapper? Hip hop artist? I don't know. I don't pay attention to him. I don't pay attention to that sect of celebrities or celebrities in general, really. That's only the second one, but I'm already disappointed with how many there have been. Elizabeth in the DLC. Yeah, but then I have to like get the repair spell. um, you get that from Dusk, right? I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'll get I'll upgrade this and then I'll kill the Hydra and then buy that spell, I guess. I don't know what the requirement is, and I also need to find a staff. Um, I don't know. There are a lot like on the way, but I can't think of one that's just like there right now. I'll get one eventually. I'm not slandering the Zwei. I'm not like against it. If it's fun for you, that's awesome. I love the Claymore. The Scythe, not the Great Scythe. The Scythe is my favorite weapon in this game. And I'm not gonna stand here and say that the Zweihander is a bad weapon and you shouldn't use it or whatever. It's just kind of fine. Which I'm fully aware that the Scythe is also just kind of fine. I just like the moveset. And I like how it looks. Don't do the combo. And I assume you're still talking about Ishin? Sekiro is extremely generous with deflect timings and like when you're allowed to deflect during your attacks. It's totally safe to just spam attacks until you need to deflect or until the boss jumps away or whatever. Um, I don't know. That's been my strategy this whole time, and it's worked pretty perfectly. I'm pretty sure the Undead Merchant doesn't sell infinite repair powder. Yeah, the Scythe and the Catacombs. No, no, no. That's the Great Scythe, not Catacombs. Sense Fortress. Sorry. I confused myself. It's 86. Maybe it's 72 one-handed. Here's where I'm getting confused. Oh, come back. Why did I think 72? There must have been a different weapon that I used early on that did 72. I was like, oh, that's slightly worse. Huh. I don't know. Don't know where that came from. I'm surprised the two-handed motion value even matters that much. I know it's 1.2. Is it 1.2 for just two-handed R1s, actually? I'm not sure. That's good to know that I can do. Oh, it's not consistent. Run. Damn it. Yeah, two-handing doesn't give you the strength scaling, but it does give you a slightly higher motion value, which matters for damage, obviously. I didn't use many R2s in my first playthrough, if any at all, and I never used jump attacks or anything. So, I don't know. No idea where the 72 number came from. Yeah, this weapon is buffable in my mod, so that's gonna be fun to be able to use a buff on this weapon and make it even more strong or even stronger. Lightning gold pine resin rather is a lot easier to come by as well. Domhnall sells it infinitely rather than just 3 of them, and the there's a couple more static drops. I put 2 in the gargoyle arena, so you're like actually encouraged to use pine resins and infusions and buffs and stuff. Yeah, the Scythe Halberd Bardiche, exactly. Oh yeah, waffles are. I don't know. I think I actually prefer waffles to pancakes. I think it depends on the day. I was gonna make a joke about hating one or the other, but it occurs to me that I don't have a strong preference toward one or the other. Kind of hard to make a joke about having a strong preference when you don't have a strong preference. I think I added scaling to nearly every weapon that doesn't have scaling, including infusions. There might be a couple exceptions in there. but most of the weapons I don't have scaling just aren't good. And I wanted to make all weapons at least kind of viable. Have a strong preference for not having a strong preference. I like having some strong preferences. It's satisfying to just be able to, defend something with your life, to die on a hill. No, YouTube pays me after the 20th. I usually get paid on the 21st or 22nd. Do I even have any souls in that bloodstain? No, not really. Okay, I can be more aggressive than I was being, or am being right now, rather. Just need to be careful of the AoE. Oh yeah, I should try the one-handed R2 to see what the damage is. 77, not 72. Krista, oh my goodness. I think you're over half my paycheck. Thank you very much. I still stand by the fact that I do not deserve as much money as you give me. I understand that if people think I deserve money, then I deserve money, but like you've given me a lot. Thank you very much. Krista, you need money. Whoa, I hit her. Or well, I mean, obviously I hit her, but I hit her human half. Okay, but like so do you. That's it's not like thank you. And I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money, but I will strongly suggest that you use some of it for yourself instead of giving so much of it to me. The graphics and controls are excellent. I strongly disagree with both of those, but not because I think they're bad, just because I don't like them. Um, like in terms of graphics, the art style is extremely desaturated, and because of that, extremely boring. It's hard for me to look at something from Dark Souls 3 and be like, oh yeah, that looks good. Even Irithyll, which is I think does a good job of taking advantage of that desaturated look. Um, I don't know. It's just kind of underwhelming at best. Yeah, Krista, make sure you have enough money for things that you do. And then in terms of controls, like I see why you like it, but there are so many things about it that I don't know. It works for the style of game that it is, but because I prefer the style of Dark Souls 1 and 2, I will always wish that Dark Souls 3 was more similar to Dark Souls 1 or 2. Hello, Sandy. Welcome. I won't deny that AdSense is a little bit underwhelming. I think my mod video that I made last week got $4. So, you know, maybe I should just upload daily. I can't do that. There's no way I would ever be able to do that. But maybe then I would get a decent amount of money working 10 hours a day to get a half-baked video out constantly. The only not fun one is Demon Souls. I think Demon Souls does a lot of stuff really, really well. And that makes it really, really interesting in a lot of ways. And because of that, I like it more so than the gameplay itself, though the gameplay itself is fun. The levels aren't as good. That's the wrong word. They're not they're not as conducive to fostering a playstyle as Dark Souls 1 and 2, or even Dark Souls 3, but I think they work for what the game is. Um, and then the bosses are all really gimmicky and, in my opinion, really interesting and fun to figure out the gimmick and how to take advantage of it and everything. Especially with something like, I don't know, Adjudicator isn't a particularly fun boss, but the fact that there are multiple strategies for it, that applies more broadly throughout the game. But I think Adjudicator is the most obvious example because you can either attack the sword a bunch that's sticking out of its stomach and then have a short opportunity to attack it, or you can stand up top and use like bows and spells to attack it a bunch. I think the fact that it has multiple distinct and both extremely viable strategies in different ways is really interesting. And like the same goes again with most, if not all, the bosses, right? Um, exceptions being like maybe Flame Lurker, which is arguable that it doesn't have opportunities to use strategies just because it's so vanilla in terms of the strategies you're able to use in terms of like being relative to Dark Souls, especially. How it's just kind of a boss that you fight rather than having a specific gimmick. And then like, I don't know, Dragon God. Though I guess for that can you use bows to destroy the rubble? Because like if you're using a weaker weapon, right, you run in, smack it, and then have to go hide again. So I don't know. There is still room for a little bit of expression there. Storm Ruler, or rather, King of the Storm. You can use the Storm Ruler or bow and arrow. I just think there's a lot of opportunity for expression in terms of strategy, even if for most playstyles, one strategy is going to be better than the other. Um, I didn't grab the dragon. Hmm. Okay, change of plans. I am gonna go down to Ash Lake. However, I'm going to create a dragon scale right now. I'm going to upgrade my weapon to plus 10. Or I'm not going to upgrade my weapon to plus 10, but I'm going to upgrade it as much as I can with the souls that I have. And then I'm going to go down and get the Dragon Torso Stone because I think that makes sense and it's funny. Anyway, the Drake Sword is fine. It's early game right now. It doesn't scale, so it doesn't do super well in the late game, but that's kind of why I wanted to grab the Torso Stone in the first place. Let me open. Oh, I already have DSR Gadget open. What do you know? Um, it would be in the upgrade materials tab, not the consumables tab. Dragon scale. Get 40 of those. Since I think you need 30 for the torso stone. I'm going to use all my souls as well. Yeah, magic is kind of busted in Demon Souls. I think you need 20,000 to fully upgrade. I think it's 2,000 per level. No, then it would be 10,000. I don't know. It's 10,000 per level? Oh my god. Okay. That's fine. I don't feel bad for cheating in the dragon skulls anymore. Jesus. It's so many. I guess I could go fight the Iron Golem and get the level 10 right now, but I'll do that when I come back. Yeah, Demon Souls was my last Souls game, and I do think it was the easiest because of that. But going back to it, like Flame Lurker can still be a pain. I've never really struggled with the man eaters, which is weird because I've heard horror stories with people struggling with them. I don't know. There aren't that many enemies that I struggle with. Tower of Latria is really cool, but it's hard for me to enjoy it. Just because it feels like a very underdeveloped maze. Like it feels like a worse version of, I don't know, the depths, right? To me. But the atmosphere is very strong. I don't really have a preference toward either version of Demon Souls. I think the remake is beautiful. I think the atmosphere is weaker, though not necessarily worse. I do think the music is just worse, though. That is one thing that the remake definitely made worse, without any hesitation. I think one who craves souls, is my favorite Demon Souls song. No, Souls of Mist. One who craves souls is very, very good though. Souls of Mist is still my favorite. I have to get down the Great Hollow without dying. That's fine. I mean, 3-1 just isn't really a maze. It tried to be, but it's really bad at it. So I just don't think it's that interesting. I like Valley of Defilement more for that reason, just because it feels more like a maze, even though arguably it's more linear. I get lost in Valley of Defilement more than the Tower of Latria, at least in 5-1 and 5-2. Maybe not so much 5-3. Is 5-3 just the boss fight? Or is there a level there? I don't remember. I played through that game pretty recently too. I don't know. I need to play Demon Souls more. I want to do challenge runs. Well, not challenge runs. I want to do weapon runs with it like I'm doing right now. But in that game. But I need to play the game more first. I don't know. It's not even... Again, it's not really a maze. The Valley of Defilement. It's just like a lot of it looks pretty similar to other parts of itself. And because of that, I'll get turned around pretty frequently, which doesn't happen in Souls games very often. That's kind of what made the depths confusing the first time I played it. It's like, oh, these hallways are all exactly the same, and they all kind of drop you down into this area where you have to climb out of, and it's hard to know like what goes where. But as long as you find the giant rat, I don't know, the depth is really small. Once you realize that it's just a couple square hallways that make the whole thing confusing. 3-1 is a better version of Irithyll Dungeon. I don't know if I agree with that. Not that 3-1 isn't better than Irithyll Dungeon, because it definitely is. I agree with that 100%. But more so the idea that it's a version of the same thing. I think I would fundamentally disagree with that. Yeah. Very Mario style naming convention there, I guess. I don't know. I do want to play Demon Souls more. I want to play Dark Souls 2 more. Maybe Dark Souls 3. I'm kind of apprehensive on that one because it's hard for me to replay Dark Souls 3 a lot of the time. I don't know. Is that the ladder? I think it is. I don't remember. No, the ladder is not here. I don't remember where the ladder is. I know how to get up the Great Hollow really easily, but I never remember how to get down it easily. Oh, oh, here's the ladder. Latria, Latria is just like some square hallways that go up and down. I feel like the the Irithyll dungeon is a lot more not intertwined because there are two floors and they go in a circle like that. But there's like one connecting pathway. It's just if it's different. The layout is it doesn't feel reminiscent of it to me. Especially because you can find keys to skip certain parts of the level or to go to different parts of the level quicker. The area with the giant is a great example of that. Like there are several different ways to get past that giant. And while most of them do involve like hitting it and running past without or attempting to not die, you can also just skip it entirely. I don't know, it just feels like a different concept with what it was trying to go for. It's also a lot more linear, which is just how Dark Souls 3 kind of is. But I think it does a good job of being intertwined with good shortcuts and stuff. It feels more like, I don't know, it feels more like the depths, I guess, than the Tower of Latria. Which I know I said the Tower of Latria was a less good version of the depths, but I mean that in a different way. I think in that the Tower of Latria was supposed to be a maze, and the depths is a better maze if you don't know what you're doing, and if you do know what you're doing, then it feels a lot more linear, with multiple ways through, like the dungeon. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I understand liking Dark Souls 3 more. It's just the play style that you have to use when going through the game is fundamentally different than Dark Souls 1 and 2. Um, and so it's kind of polarizing in that way. I like it. It just took me a long time to learn that I liked it. Irithyll? Irithyll is extremely linear. What? Do you mean Irithyll Dungeon? But again, Irithyll Dungeon is still very linear. Like you go across the bridge, you drop down, you go through the outside area, drop through the window to get past the giant, and then it's a straight shot to the place, the profane capital. It's an extremely short area and an extremely linear area, as opposed to Latria that does have a lot of shortcuts, like significantly more shortcuts and intertwining paths, and it doesn't really have an alternate way through outside of like the shortcuts specifically, I guess. I don't know. More confusing and complicated. It's linear though. It's Dark Souls 3. It can't be confusing and complicated. That's not unique to Dark Souls 3 though. Dark Souls 2, 1 and 2 also have a lot of really short areas. Like Heights Tower of Flame comes to mind. Um, there's a Great Hollow. I just went through that. The depths is really small. Blighttown is pretty short if you don't explore it. Krista, you should sleep then. Sleep is good for you. Dark Souls 3 is by far the easiest to navigate and the most linear. I can't think of an area that's non-linear. I mean, the cathedral to a degree. Um, a high wall, kinda, a little bit, maybe, just because there are two pathways to leading to the fort. I don't know. I rested on accident. Wow, that was pure instinct. We're gonna pretend I didn't do that. Actually, I didn't rest. Um, yeah, I did not rest there. I promise. I haven't played Arch Thorns yet. I don't think I'll end up liking it, but I'll try it. I don't know. Um, Fire Link. Okay. See, I told you I didn't rest. Torso Stone. Do I have to take armor off to use that? I think so. Because it has Dark Souls 2 areas. That's a good reason to like it. Undead Settlement. I don't know. I don't like Undead Settlement that much, to be honest. I'm not gonna tell you that it's not the best level for your preferences, but it's just like there's one path that skips the whole thing and then it's over, and then there's another path that's very long and winding and leads to a very underwhelming boss. It has a lot of really boring enemies and then a couple upgrade materials to make it worth your time, and then also like the Great Scythe, which is just a worse version of the Corvian Scythe. You know, I don't know. The Undead Parish just doesn't have a lot going on. Parish, the Undead Settlement. Sorry, it's the Undead Settlement is two linear pathways. Like, if you go in a direction, you will reach the end. It is impossible to get lost in the undead settlement if you just go forward and follow the path. Okay, I'm gonna grab the cage key, then fight the iron golem, and come down, upgrade my weapon to max, and leave. There are 2 branching paths that dead end. What branching path? There's the one with the demon that you fight with Sigurd. Sigmeier? Sigurd? I don't remember. Yeah, there's that one. And then uh there's the one with all the houses with the thralls, like on the roofs. I don't even know if that one dead ends. Again, I'm not saying it's bad for your sensibilities. I'm saying why I don't like it. It's like, I think it is interesting to navigate, but once you know it, it stops being interesting to me. I also personally just don't like fighting the enemies there. It is very much a preference thing, and I'm like, that is one thing that I'm very careful to communicate with all of my preferences. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying I don't like it. Oops, that's not good. Everything's fine. I've seen a lot of evil vagrants recently, which is weird because most of the time when people intentionally spawn vagrants, that's going to be good vagrants, right? Because they're so much easier to spawn because you just drop an item and leave. But I've seen 3 or 4 evil vagrants in the past couple of weeks, like week or two. I don't know. I've seen a lot. It's weird. I forget what it's like having stamina in this game. And this is without favor and protection as well. Do I even have any rings on? Don't. Okay, might as well. I don't know what other, like, I know I want to put the red tear stone ring on at some point, but I don't know what other rings I wear. Pardon me, please don't attack my foot. I need that. I'm trying to think what my favorite level in Dark Souls 3 would be, because there aren't any. Dark Souls 3 is one of those games. This is really common for me. It's especially in like platformers, like Mario 64 is like that for me. Spyro 2, two of my favorite games of all time are like this for me. I'd put Dark Souls 3 within my top 10 or 15 as well. But there aren't any specific levels that I would say I particularly enjoy. But I like the game as a whole. Um, like, I don't know, I think my favorite level would be the Demon Ruins in Dark Souls 3, just because it's very maze-like and interesting to navigate, and it also has a lot of incentives to explore the area. And it's also very non-linear. It's a side area, so it just kind of forgoes everything I dislike about Dark Souls 3. But aside from that, like, I don't know, there are a lot of levels that I really hate. King's Garden, I despise because I hate fighting the Puzzle Man, for instance. Irithyll I hate because there's so many dogs and so many fire witches and so many pontiff knights, and it just feels like enemy spam, and the invisible enemies are annoying. So like, I dislike Irithyll as a level. I dislike, I don't know, the dungeon is fine. It's just, I don't have any strong feelings toward any of the levels in Dark Souls 3 aside from despising a couple and really liking one. But I like the game as a whole because it feels good to play a lot of the time. Same goes for Mario 64, which is one of my favorite games of all time. Like, Tiny Huge Island is annoying to navigate. Bubble Battlefield is boring. especially with like 100 coin stars. Hazy Maze Cave is really annoying. Um, Lethal Lava Land is also boring, but like I love that game. It is so much fun to just move around in that game, so I don't care that it's boring to do those things. You like Dreadcube. That is a new opinion to me. Wow, that sure is technically damage. Well, no, I've heard people say they like Dreadkeep, but definitely not like as a favorite level. Oh, I thought it was staggering. Oops. There it is. Hopefully it falls off. That's... I do not know why I thought the weapon art button was L2. Last time I used a weapon art was in this game was Remastest, I guess. I thought there was like a slashing attack on the R2, and I could not tell you why. Archdragon Peak is my least favorite level in Dark Souls 3. Thank you for reminding me. I despise Archdragon Peak. Um, it's extremely linear. It is not visually interesting whatsoever. All of the enemies on that level are extremely annoying. Um, I don't know. I don't like either of the bosses. Yeah. Archdragon Peak is definitely my least favorite level in Dark Souls 3. Best part about Dark Souls 3 is the boss fights. I see that. When I think of Dark Souls 3 boss fights, my brain immediately goes to like Crystal Sage, Deacons, Wolnir, Pontiff, which are all maybe not Pontiff, but a lot of the early boss fights are gimmick fights, and especially gank fights. Like Crystal Sage is very ganky. The Abyss Watchers are considered one of the best ganks in the series. I disagree for a lot of reasons. And then I think to like Dark Souls 2 and how almost every boss fight in that game is gimmicky or ganky, and people dislike it for that, but then people praise the Dark Souls 3 boss fights. And I get that it's because of fights like Dragon Slayer Armor or Dancer or Twin Princess or whatever, right? But I don't know. Like, I love Twin Princess. I love the Dancer. I love Dragon Slayer Armor. I think Champion Gundyr is pretty fun. But I don't know. A lot of people just don't seem to bring up the early boss fights in Dark Souls 3 very often. But I don't dislike most of the boss fights in Dark Souls 3. Adaptability is like the not the reason that I like Dark Souls 2, but like it is a great example of the reason, in that your build, your levels, your character, your gear matters a lot more than any other games, right? Like Dark Souls 1, I'm playing Dark Souls 1 with what is considered one of the least impressive weapons, right? And I'm cruising through it because gear isn't incredibly important in this game, as opposed to Dark Souls 2, where yes, you can beat the game with a soup ladle, right? But if you're going to do that, it's highly expected to use infusions and buffs and spells and gear to increase your damage and everything, right? And because of that, it gives you a lot more levels, especially early on. Like I usually finish Dark Souls 2 around or over level 100 when I barely get to level 80 when I play Dark Souls 1 most of the time, right? So I think the fact that there are so many levels, that you do get so many levels in Dark Souls 2, and you're incentivized to use them to encourage a specific build. So like, leveling ADP to roll a bunch if you decide you're going to roll a bunch, or leveling vitality and stamina, or endurance rather, if you're going to use your shield a bunch or whatever. That's what I really, really love about Dark Souls 2. It's your build that matters. So I don't know. I've never understood the dislike for adaptability. Um, so you're probably not going to believe me when I say this, because for some reason it is incredibly controversial. Gale and Nameless are my two least favorite fights in that game. I don't know if I would say least favorite. Nameless is probably my least favorite boss fight in Dark Souls 3. Gale I would probably put somewhere in the middle, just because it's kind of inoffensive. But I hate the pace of Nameless and Gale. Gale less so. But I find Gale really boring just because he's so easy. But he also has some really annoying attacks. Like the lightning is incredibly annoying. The um the crossbow is really annoying. His jump attack, he can just turn 180 degrees in midair during his jump attack, which is really annoying. I do not like Gale, but Nameless is probably worse. Just because I don't know, he attacks constantly. It's impossible to safely attack from neutral unless you're using an extremely fast weapon. And when my last playthrough with the Claymore, it just wasn't very fun to me. Um, Plus, you have to go through the King of the Storm every time, and like while it is pretty inoffensive, it gets really annoying when you have to completely adjust to a brand new pace. That's way faster than most or than any boss in the base game, as far as I remember, at least in terms of how it felt when I played it last. I do not like Nameless, and I do not like Gale either. With my other very normal opinions on bosses, like Bed of Chaos being pretty fun, and Capra Demon being one of my favorite bosses in this game, and the Ruin Sentinels being top 3 bosses in the series. I have very normal opinions on bosses, I assure you. Oops. Oh, okay, bye. What do you dislike about the moveset? Like, what do you mean moveset? Like weapon movesets, or like the movement, how the movement feels? Or, like, what do you mean? Capra is fun because of the dogs. Without the dogs, it would be boring. It's just a normal enemy that's technically a boss fight because it has a little bit more health than anything else in the area. But with the dogs, it makes you strategize and use equipment and actually try. How did you land here? You were on the bridge. Get out of here. The weapon movesets? What do you mean? There's so many. Do you hate every single one? It's not even it's not even that I would like Gale if he was hard. It's just a very long, boring, easy, and a weirdly inconsistent fight. Like most of the time I beat him first or second try, right? Especially if I'm just doing like a normal build, not a challenge run or whatever. Not that I've done many challenge runs with Dark Souls 3, but I don't know. It's just not that special of a fight. It's just long and boring. It's my main thing. If the fight was maybe half the length, I might like it a little bit more. If he had half the health or whatever, but as is, it's just so. Ugh. And then if you die near the end, it's so like, oh my god, I have to do that entire thing again. Are you kidding me? Yeah, magic weapon and buffs are very powerful in Dark Souls 1, and they would be better if you could buff infusions. I think buffing infusions is going to be a really big thing um, with my mod, with how that will change damage. I think if you're missing with straight swords swinging diagonally, I think that's more on you than the game, right? I've never had an issue when using a straight sword. I did multiple playthroughs with just the broadsword and then dual wielding the broadsword in a second playthrough, um, and it felt really good to use the whole time. I understand like if you didn't like the new Ultra Greatsword moveset or whatever, especially on the uh, Gugs or whatever, but I don't know. I also really like that because it hits behind you, and I think that's really fun to take advantage of. I mean, the Drake Sword would have suffered even worse earlier. I think it's still pretty good damage. Like it one shot the Silver Knight with a riposte, which is my metric for a decent weapon at this point in the game. I don't think it's suffering yet. It's when scaling starts to matter that it starts hurting, which isn't until the Lord fights, and even then, most of the Lord fights are pretty easy. It's mostly just like Four Kings and Nito that make it struggle at all. Like this is not bad damage at all. Ouch. I think I'm really weak to lighting right now, actually, because of Dragon Torso Stone. So I should probably be aware of that and be a little bit more careful with Ornstein specifically. Okay, good stagger. I'm glad I was correct about that stagger timing. Smoke, can you do something that I can, like, do something while you're doing? Not that. Owie. Okay, Smo, give me a second. Did I say Ornstein? I meant Smo. I don't know. I just got him backwards in the words that I was saying. So there we go. Well, that's because you're using lock on too much. Most of the time, you shouldn't even be using lock on. If you're missing because of locking on, you shouldn't be locking on in that scenario 100% of the time. In any group interaction, in anything that isn't like a one-on-one fight with a boss or whatever, you shouldn't be locking on in Dark Souls 2 or in Dark Souls 1 for that matter. So I think that's really on you. Again, not the game. Being bad at straight swords is like being bad at walking. I don't think that's fair. Not for Dark Souls 2. I would agree with Dark Souls 3, but because it's Dark Souls 2, I would disagree. Being bad with rapiers or piercing swords, thrusting swords on the other hand, I would say, is like being bad at walking. But even then, oh my god. I swear I'm good at the video game. There we go. An 8-hour walk? I don't know. Can you walk for 8 hours? I wouldn't be able to do that because of chronic pain and being unfit, but I don't know. If you can do an 8-hour walk and it's fun to you, go for it. Yeah, exactly. So if you are in a scenario where you are moving not toward an enemy when you're attacking, um, then that's on you entirely. You shouldn't be locking on in that scenario. In fact, you probably shouldn't be using that attack. I mean, there's a reason that attacks are so varied on so many weapons in Dark Souls 2. Okay, I was going to fight Gwendolyn so that I could get the brass armor, but I don't. But since I'm using the Dragon Torso Stone, I don't think that's a good idea. Yeah, just take care of yourself if you're gonna do something, extensively exhausting. But yeah, like again, if you're in a scenario where you're gonna be using a rolling attack and you're missing, then you shouldn't be using a rolling attack in that scenario, right? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go kill the Hydra. And then I guess get repair as well while I'm down here. So you need to be human to summon Dusk? I don't think you do, right? All right, Krista, have a good night. Thank you for being here while you could. I hope you sleep well. I don't think you need to be human. I guess we'll find out. There are a lot of scenarios in which the rolling attack is extremely advantageous in Dark Souls 2. It's a lot about closing distance. Also, weapons that don't have a straightforward rolling attack. Like there are weapons with rolling attacks that, swing in an arc or whatever, right? And those are very, very useful a lot more often than rolling attacks on like ultra great swords or thrusting swords or whatever, right? So it's very much not this attack is bad in all scenarios. It's more like you're using that attack incorrectly and shouldn't be using it in the scenarios where you think it's bad. Because like yes, it is bad in those scenarios. That doesn't mean that it's bad or useless or whatever. You shouldn't be playing the game like Dark Souls 1, is the point. Or Dark Souls 3. It's very much its own thing. Okay, I think I am going to have to hit the last head, which is unfortunate. I don't think I'm doing enough damage to kill it with 6 heads. The Grand Lance was one of my favorite Dark Souls 2 playthroughs I've ever done. I should do that again. I think that'd be a really fun video to do as like a introduction to doing Dark Souls 2 videos, if nothing else. Okay. Cestus is good in Dark Souls 2? That makes sense, actually. I don't know why I'm questioning that. Um. Oh, okay. Well, that's unfortunate. Nice. I'm surprised the reach was long enough to do that. Have a good night, Sandy. Thank you for joining while you could. Hadoken Fist? Like Dragon Bone Fist? Or is there another one that I'm not thinking of? Is Dragon Bone Fist even in Dark Souls 2? I have no idea. Hello, Ashley. Welcome. I don't even know where you get that in Dark Souls 2. I assume it's a boss weapon. Question mark. I wish that one was good in Dark Souls 1. I did buff it significantly in my mod just because it's cool. I want to be able to use it. But oh, Eliam Lois. Huh. Well, it's a boss weapon in Dark Souls 1, so close enough. Okay. And I quit again. Now we go all the way back. Like the Dragon Bone Fist, but good. Yeah, that's unfortunate. The problem with the Dragon Bone Fist is entirely the fact that it has terrible base damage. If I remember correctly, it actually has decent scaling, and it can be buffed and everything. Like its only shortcoming is its lack of ability to do decent damage on its own. Yeah, Ivory King is fine. Eliam Lois is probably the one to me that felt the most enemy spammy. And this is coming from someone who loves Dark Souls 2 because of how it deals with enemy placement and stuff. What's the requirement on that? 14? What do I have? 8. Okay. Actually, that's not true. Broom Tower was a lot more enemy spammy. I hated Broom Tower. Eliam Lois is fun. I'd put it easily in the middle of the two, like smack dab in the middle between the other two DLCs. And Shulva is my favorite by far. I don't like Ivory King. I think it's a pretty boring fight, to be honest. With, I would say Ivory King has probably not fun or unfair, but unintuitive hitboxes to me personally. I'm not sure why that is. It just feels strange to fight Ivory King, and I could not tell you why. Alana is a lot more fun. Vanilla Dark Souls 2 is just worse than Scholar. There's not a single thing that I can think of off the top of my head that I prefer in Vanilla Dark Souls 2. I don't know. There's like maybe a couple enemy placements that would have been cooler. Like, owie, Jesus. If they allowed you to, or if there was a turtle knight, I don't remember what they're called, the old knights. If there was one of them in the hallway with all the skeletons, just so you could see the destructible pillars and like make it easier to navigate around all the skeletons and everything, which they did do in vanilla, or like their breakable platform in the windmill area. That I don't know. Like there just aren't that many, and they're so minor that they don't actually affect my enjoyment of the game at all. So I just vastly prefer Scholar. Also, the Hyde Knights being in Hyde's Tower of Flame just feels better to me. Like, it is cool that they're scattered about like Black Knights, but I think the Cyan Knights fulfill that just fine. So I don't really have a problem with the Hyde Knights not being scattered around. I don't know. Also, I think Amana and Dragon Shrine are entirely valid reasons on their own, individually, not together, individually, to despise vanilla. Um, and as such, I despise vanilla. On top of every other area just feeling incredibly empty and boring. Like, Forest of Fallen Giants and Bestie are incredibly boring in vanilla because there's just nothing there. Um, I don't know. I don't like vanilla. I think if my first Dark Souls experience was with vanilla as opposed to Scholar of the First Sin, I wouldn't like Dark Souls as much as I do now. I don't know. I probably eventually would have gotten into it, but it's it would have taken a lot longer at least. Okay. Um, I mean, if you don't play them, not like back to back, I should have leveled whatever. If you don't play them like both of them yourself, then I can see not seeing a difference. But like if you do play them on your own, just like at some point, it's gonna feel very, very different. And if it doesn't, then I feel like you're not paying attention, which is detrimental in Dark Souls 2 for sure. Or as the kids say, I don't know. Ivory King was cool, like us, but I don't know. Set pieces in Dark Souls games don't really do it for me, to be honest. The only exception being the old one in Demon Souls. Granted, I haven't like gone through Vanilla Dark Souls 2 and like heavily analyzed everything, but of what I have done, like Forest of Fallen Giants, Shaded Woods, everything, um, the Bestie and the No Man's Wharf and everything, like Scholar is just better. I really need to finish that series, but I don't want to play through the beginning of Vanilla again. That's the only reason I haven't continued my Dark Souls 2 series. Because, like, ugh, Vanilla. I have to play through the beginning of that again. I have to beat the center and then make sure I'm at the same level that I was at when I was, like, going through killing everything. It's just so much. So much that I don't want to do because I find Vanilla so much more boring than Scholar. And I did it in Scholar in like a couple hours. I got back to where I was, same level and everything. But I just really don't want to with vanilla. I don't know. I wouldn't say vanilla is just worse, but it does feel empty at points. A lot of the areas are annoying, in my opinion. So I do prefer Scholar. Well, it's just boring because there are no enemies. There are 2 or 3 enemies at the sword in vanilla. The one that you like walk up to get the item, and then there's like an enemy on it. There's an enemy on it in vanilla. No, in Scholar. I don't remember. There's an enemy on it in one of them, and then in Scholar, 4 of them will drop down behind you, and in vanilla, there's like 1 or 2 that follow behind you that you can completely prevent if you just kill them first on the floor, and they won't fight back or anything. And like to a point, that has its merits, right? I think enemies being able to be killed before they have a chance to attack you is really interesting. Um, but like that's very much a theme in vanilla, where there are just no enemies to attack you if you pay attention. If I remember correctly, the DLCs aren't that different, if at all. Oh my god. And like I don't think that that specific instance is bad, right? It's just that there's just nothing. There's no challenge in Dark Souls 2 vanilla if you pay attention at all. Like with Scholar, right? You have a ton of enemies on the ground, laying down, and noticing them makes it easier, but it doesn't remove the challenge completely, like where you would find the Hide Knight in vanilla. So, gonna go ahead and do that. What keys are you referring to? Oh yeah, the DLC keys. That's right. Um, yeah, I don't know. I like having to find the keys just because it incentivizes you to explore. And if you really don't want to deal with it, you can look them up, and all 3 of them are extremely easy to get because they're just kind of in certain areas that you'll probably come across anyway if you're properly exploring, except for maybe the Iron King DLC key, um, which you can get extremely early on by doing 1 jump and a drop attack, or you can get by getting the key and properly exploring. Okay, I want this, and then I think it's time to break favor in production, if I'm being honest. Um, yeah, not like I need it. Oops. I don't know what my last bonfire was. Was it Undead Parish? Oh, it was here? Okay. I just realized I don't have OBS up, so I can't tell. Okay. Everything's fine. Uh, Doing that for an entire month, or rather, not doing that for an entire month. Also, wait. Okay, never mind. I guess we don't have to worry about the passives being there constantly. Um, that's weird because I did. Oh, because I didn't replace all the files last time. I hope I didn't lose that. I don't have to rewrite that code. Oh, whatever. Anyway, don't not do that for an entire month. It's really bad for you. Is the point? It's healthy and good for you to. I'm trying to find words to say to make it so YouTube doesn't hate me. It is okay to indulge. It is healthy to indulge every so often, and not doing it for an extended period of time is extremely unhealthy and can cause permanent damage. So I'll just do it next playthrough. Next week, it's fine. When am I streaming next week? Moonlight Greatsword. I don't know how I'm gonna do that one. Uh, Probably just sprint to Ornstein and Smo with like I don't know a weapon to be honest. Probably just like Black Knight Sword or something. Yeah, this one's fine in terms of damage, especially with RTSR. I don't think 4 Kings are going to be an issue at all. especially if I remember to use the Dragon Torso Stone. But the buff is so short that I never remember to use it. But it is pretty significant, so especially because it's percentage based. I think unupgraded, it's 30% buff. I think I'm at a level 1 Covenant. I don't remember. Or is it level 3 with 30? Is 30 max buff or just to get the stone in the first place? I don't remember. That's not important. Non-stop November? Good luck with that one. That one's probably difficult for people. A lot of people, me included. Oh my god. As in the host using the Drake sword? Because chances are that was just somebody who's never played the game before, and I feel like that's an unfair comparison. Coming from someone who has over 1,000 hours in this game, this is not terrible damage. Oops, wrong button. Drink. Okay, everything's fine. That's fine. Okay. I was scared of somehow getting sweet spot damage or something. Oh, okay. 3 kings is very possible. Kind of just don't need to worry about being hit right now. This is kind of what I did my first playthrough, just with poise. There we go. And without RTSR. Oh, I am going to have to attack the last one. Unfortunate. I use Plume. I don't have insurance right now. I definitely need to get on that. But I don't. So that's a little bit expensive. A little bit. It's $100 a month, not including the cost to buy the HOT from the pharmacy. So it is quite a bit, but it was very, very easy to just like go in, be like, hey, I want HOT because it'll be affirming to me. And I did some blood tests and then they gave me HRT. So very, very nice to have something to be able to do that easily. One more, and then I can actually use the thing. Oh, I do need a staff. 4 kings and the 4 kings. In my mod, I made it so that you can't kill individual kings. So that'll be interesting to see how people deal with that. And there are other, I mean, Plume isn't DIY, but there are other options to take that aren't like through primary care provider or whatever. There's also like Planned Parenthood. I've heard is pretty good to go through if you're able to like get an appointment and everything. Seath. Actually, yeah, Seath. Just for the just for the broken pendant, so I don't forget that. What? Why can't I remember any easy staffs to get? Like, I know I'm going to get the Izalith one from the Demon Knight. Or is it the Izalith one? Or the Ivory? Either way. That's the same one. Anyway, I am basically guaranteed to get a Catalyst at some point. But, like, is there one earlier that I can get easier that I'm not thinking of? Can you get Beatrice's Catalyst from her corpse? Oh, you can buy one from Dusk? Well, yeah, I know the normal one is in Lower Berg, but I don't want to go to Lower Berg is the issue with that. Otherwise, I would have just grabbed that one. And I would need to, like, buy the residence key and do all that. Not earlier, but easier. Because Lower Berg is definitely not easier than just going to kill the Demon Fire Sage, since I'm going to kill the Demon Fire Sage no matter what. If I remember correctly, it's basically because Blighttown is just made of a bunch of objects copied all over the place, like all the planks and stuff. It's just like a ton of objects all over the place that the game has to deal with individually, and it tanks FPS. Probably should have grabbed the repair box just in case, but that's fine. There we go. I've never heard anything about liquids in Blighttown at all. Oh yeah, Beatrice's. Yeah. Does Logan automatically show up in the archives if you don't free him in Sens, or do you need to free him in Sens first? Because I know he escapes the Duke's archives cell on his own once you kill Seath, but I don't know if he'll just be there after I kill Seath. I just couldn't remember if Beatrice's catalyst was at the spot where you get her stuff. Welcome back, Krista. Kind of figured that would happen. Oh, rude. First of all, also rude. There we go. That's dealt with. 4 hits to stagger. Enough stamina to do 4 hits, so that's cool. Blue chunk. Honestly, I never even backstab the boar in the parish just because it's not precise, but the positioning is weird, and I just never bothered to learn it. So I just never do it. I can replace this with this. Oh, and I guess this with this for now. Yeah, it's almost Pisaka time. You're alive. Stop doing that. Stop being alive. Come on. Oh my god. Get to see the cool animation twice. I'm kind of scared of the DLC, to be honest. Not because of low damage. I fight or I do the DLC with low damage all the time, but just because it's gonna take a while. All right. Why do I have the shield up? What is that? Also, not getting cursed there is kind of surprising. Wouldn't matter because I had the rare ring of sacrifice, but still kind of surprising that I didn't even get cursed in the first place. Oops, not that one. Distracted by Gundams. That's a very Gundam person thing to do. There we go. The sword gives you a defense buff? I never knew that. Huh. 2 attacks. Unfortunate. I guess that just means more time with Pasakas, though, so maybe not so unfortunate. That's a that's a funny attack. Need to hurry up and get a catalyst though, so I can actually use that. Oh my god! Right, that's fine actually. I honestly just didn't expect it to jump that far. Normally, I stand right in front of it to get grabbed. So oh hey, another one for free. You're welcome. That was definitely intentional. To give a second grab. I guess that means hello. I was gonna say 2 backstabs, but I guess not. The game wasn't having it. Not sure the hug is the main appeal. I mean, it's pretty nice. Well, that was scary. My whole life flashed before my eyes. Having stamina is so weird. All right, have a good night, Krista. Sleep well. Makes you feel ick. I don't know. I like it. I think it makes me feel very normal, actually. I don't think there are any attacks in Souls games that make me specifically uncomfortable. I don't know. The sound of the maggot puking in Dark Souls 3 is pretty awful. It's kind of it. Yeah, hopefully longer. Hello, Sarah. Welcome. The Chaos Eater grab. I figured someone was going to say that. I was going to, but then, oops. Then I realized it doesn't really make me uncomfortable at all. I don't know. You're just kind of being spun around. I think it's funny more than anything. Ow. Free humanity. Hopefully I don't end up dying to the channelers. That is very much a possibility. Oh my... Intentional. That was on purpose. RTSR setup. Anyway. We're fine. Everything's fine. Oh my god. Whatever. Excuse me. Thank you. Jesus. I don't know that the Chaos Eater grab attack would be a gross feeling as much as it would be shredding your flesh. I guess if you define that as a gross feeling, I would describe that more as painful than gross, though. Alright, have fun with Minecraft. Thank you for joining while you could. Hopefully Seath isn't too awful. I feel like Seath is going to be annoying. It's because he has too much health. and I don't do a ton of damage. I would go for RTSR, but I don't. I don't know. I don't know if I want to risk that. I will be right back though. I need to use the restroom. Testing. There we go. I think it was my microphone cable got unplugged somehow, or like just barely jostled loose. Hopefully the microphone reconnection noises weren't too terrible. Completely locked in, grabbing an item. What I said while I was evidently muted, I said hi Rio, and then said that I was going to grab the catalyst and then go down and get the bonfire, the Daughters of Chaos bonfire, so I don't have to deal with it later. I was also worried about the staff having requirements that I didn't meet, but that wasn't an issue. Very strange that that happened when I got up to go to the bathroom, especially considering my microphone cable like it isn't even touching the ground. There's no way I should have been able to jostle it. It's not the size that matters; it's the damage, and we don't got much of it. It's not terrible, but like this is not gonna. I don't know. It's not a good weapon, that's for sure. Calling it a noob trap is probably a bit of an overstatement, though. I think because it doesn't have scaling, it can go well with certain playstyles. Like, I think this would be a fun pyromancy weapon, for instance. Just because pyromancy doesn't have, like, a buff to use. So, like, I don't know. I think this could be fun with certain builds, but others maybe not so much. Does it have any, like, auxiliary damage or anything? No, it's literally just, oops, 300 flat damage, and that's it. Interesting. Yeah, I did give it scaling, like I said, in my mod, and you can also buff it. So it'll be usable. I also need to make a fire weapon spell or pyromancy, which in theory shouldn't be too difficult. I just need to remember to add it to the attunement menu. Come on. You got this. There you go. Okay. All right, I need to level up attunement as well. Hello, Trashly. Welcome. Do I have souls for a level? Hey, perfect. Oh, I only have 13 in intelligence. I thought I had 14 at this point. Oh no, that sucks. Hopefully that doesn't end up being too terrible. And you can find a new one soon. Yeah, I love capitalism. Yeah, hopefully that doesn't end up being too bad for you. Yeah, I guess that's an upside. That's how I felt when I quit my last job. Didn't have to deal with the supervisor. God, there are so few people who have actually like genuinely made me angry in life. But an old coworker, she was kind of a supervisor. She would like take over the supervisor position when the supervisors were gone, when both the other ones were gone, right? And she was such a bitch. I hated her, and there are so few people I can say that about, especially that I've known personally. Like, God, ugh, she. I think the thing that really made it terrible. I worked as a janitor, and I left an hour and a half before the shift after me, and there was an hour period between me leaving and somebody else checking my area, and it was apparently really bad because they didn't check it for an hour. And then they blamed me, and I think that's what made me really realize that I despised her because I didn't do anything wrong. I almost got written up for it. Yeah, she was pretty terrible. Owner of the company called you slurs. That's so cool. Honestly, I probably would have gotten called slurs by a couple people at my last job, but definitely not the owner of the company. Jesus. Yeah, maybe losing that job is more of an upside. Hopefully financially you'll be okay though. Okay, did I get a clam? I did get a clam. Unfortunate. Ouch. There we go. Okay, what's our damage like? That's technically damage. Yeah, might be a good idea to go for RTSR, to be honest. Just don't get cursed. Perfect. Okay. Significantly better damage. Should probably be using the Dragon Torso Stone buff as well, but that's a lot of effort. Come on. Do something? Hello? Oh yeah, I forgot that obliterates your stamina. I don't know if that's worth it if I'm being honest. Ah. Stop approaching. Jesus. There we go. Oh, Severance is good, yeah. Fight Seath differently? Game audio's off, are you sure? How else would you fight Seath? Oh, wait. Intelligence first. The game audio is kind of quiet, but it's definitely coming through on OBS. Here. Can you hear the bonfire? Or, well, I guess, can you hear the game now? Because it's definitely coming through on OBS. That makes no sense. Oh, you can hear it? Nothing? That's strange. That doesn't make sense. What? Hold on. Let me see if I can go ahead and... Is it hearable now? Also, I wanted to see how much durability this does. 304. No? Huh. Weird. Okay, so it's 20, 30 damage. Oops. And then this restores... Okay. Cool. Well, at least my voice carries the stream more than the game audio. That doesn't make any sense, though. I don't understand why OBS is broadcasting it. It's like picking it up, so I don't understand why... That's so weird. I'm honestly not sure what to do, short of restarting the stream completely. And even then... I didn't change anything. I literally just got up to go to the bathroom and came back and it was broken. Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I even turned it up. That doesn't make any sense. So I just want to know why it's happening. It is there, just quiet. It'll be easier to tell once I get into a boss fight because the music should be at least a little bit loud. Ouch. I usually keep the game audio kind of quiet, but not so quiet you can't even tell if it's there. Maybe it's just deciding to be extra quiet this time, and the audio meter that OBS has is lying to me. I don't know if that counts, to be honest. We can say it does. It might be it. Nearly silent. Um, hold on, I have an idea. What if I do this? If I can see what I'm doing. How about now? I changed from game capture audio to desktop audio. I'm gonna actually use a repair and then, well, I don't need to rest. No? Why? I've had streams where there was no audio on accident, so like I'm not that concerned, to be honest. But I'm honestly just kind of curious as to why it's not working. What if I do this? Is that louder? Or like uh, perceptible now? Interesting. I really don't know why that's happening. Come back. Oh, okay, no, we're good. I don't know. I just don't understand why that would happen. Does it make it easier? I don't know. The game is usually pretty quiet for that reason. Okay, well, if the game audio comes back on and it's way too loud, let me know. The Demon's Catalyst, and then the Izalith Ivory Catalyst, I believe you get from the Daughter of Chaos, right? Couldn't remember. I don't know. I don't. When I do sorcery builds, I exclusively use the 10 Crystallization Catalyst, so. I guess I only need to level Endurance now. Need is a strong word. I'm only going to level Endurance now. There's no reason to level up anything else. Less sensory input, I suppose. But then what about those long stretches where I'm not talking about anything? Because I need to pay attention to the game. The Pingulization Catalyst, yeah, something like that. Isn't there another 10 Catalyst? The one that Ingward uses? Pingulization is a good word. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Please stop moving for half a second. I just want to get the ring. There we go. And then put that on there. Hey, on the bright side, you don't have to hear the constant lava noise. That would be grating otherwise. So, I guess there is an upside to it. Yeah, 10 banishment catalyst, yeah. Oh, everything's fine. Is there any signifier that second phase is happening other than using different attacks? I don't think so, right? Just the fact that it can use a couple different attacks once it gets below half health or whatever. Which it isn't even using right now? For some reason. Interesting. Damage is a little rough. It is. That's fine damage. don't know. I'm fine with the damage that we have right now. Not terrible. That was a long centipede fight. um, our conceptions of a long centipede fight are very different then. That was a pretty like normal centipede fight for me. And like I mean I was being pretty aggressive, so it being normal length despite the aggression, I guess is a little bit telling. But I don't know, the damage isn't terrible. That's fine. Again, this would be more like a support weapon for a build where you're not getting physical scaling. Like, you know, Pyromancer would be a great time to use this weapon. Um, what other weapons are there that don't scale? That would be good as a backup, because like Jagged Ghostblade would be fine. Top 3? I don't know that I'd say that. I like it. I don't well, I don't know. I don't dislike it, I guess is a better way to put it. I like it in terms of video game bosses in general. In terms of Dark Souls 1 bosses, it's probably, well, I don't know. There's like one Dark Souls 1 boss that I dislike, so I don't know. I like Centipede Demon, but I don't think it's particularly a standout in terms of Dark Souls 1 as a whole. Seath is the only Dark Souls 1 boss that I would say I actually straight up dislike, though. I also, one thing I've never really understood on topics of on the topic of disliking Dark Souls 1 bosses, I've never understood the dislike for reusing the Asylum Demon design a couple times. Because like the Stray Demons, first of all, they're just demons, so like having a similar design I think makes sense, right? But more so the fact that the fights have always felt significantly different to me. Because the Demon Fire Sage moves around a lot more than the Stray Demon. And the Stray Demon has the explosions and stuff, which the Asylum Demon doesn't have. So all three of them feel like pretty significantly different fights to me. I've never understood people complaining that they reused them or whatever. Because that it just has never really felt like that to me. Okay, well, whatever. Everything that comes after it? You mean the one boss that comes after it? I like Bed of Chaos. Bed of Chaos is fun. I don't know. Gwyn is weak to fire, isn't he? I think just because a boss uses an element doesn't mean they should be resistant to that element. Though I guess the fact that it is on fire. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it does visually communicate that, but it doesn't bother me, especially because most people don't even pay attention to resistances in the first place. The only reason I dislike Seath is because you just, I don't know, you just run to mid length, wait for a laser, attack him a couple times, run back, run to mid length, attack him a couple times. It's just really boring. It's not even that it's a bad fight, it's just underwhelming at best. Artorias was my least favorite of the DLC bosses, but I don't dislike Artorias by any means. Nice. I asked earlier, how would you fight Seath differently without risk of getting hit? I've done that before, and the tentacles just obliterate you if he happens to use one of his tentacle attacks, so that doesn't work. I have definitely tried that before. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, we're good. Cool. Don't get bearded. The tentacle attacks have happened literally every single time I've ever tried that. Anytime I'm not directly in front of him, he will use the attacks. They are extremely common. Okay, I'm gonna level up endurance first, I guess. And then all we have left is Nito before the DLC. Well, I don't know, maybe Pinwheel will be notable in this run. Because I don't have scaling, but I think I'll still do decent damage, enough so that Pinwheel won't be an issue. You fiery shoe. It occurs to me that if you can't hear the game, then you don't know how good of an impression that was. Yeah, much more than a speed bump is probably accurate. Oh, I should probably be a bit more careful when I'm walking down a narrow ledge instead of just staring at chat. I feel like I should be more used to that. Yeah, I'm hoping Pinwheel will be enjoyable. Kind of all I'm doing with Pinwheel is buffing his health and changing his resistances a little bit, which is, I mean, changing the resistances I'm doing with most bosses. I didn't think had resistances that made sense for encouraging using infusions and stuff, but yeah, it's not even that he'll be actually difficult or whatever. He'll just be a fight that is actually a fight. Honestly, Pinwheel is not easy if you don't kill him instantly. Just because he spams so many fireballs, especially in the second phase. If you're not careful with the clones, they will obliterate you very quickly. Well, I mean, water doesn't actually matter in Dark Souls 1. It doesn't affect resistances at all, like it does in Dark Souls 2. So, like, being wet isn't like a status effect that decreases lightning resistance. So it's not because of the water, it's just because of the how the designers chose to give him that weakness because he is in the water. But saying it's because of the water would be an overstatement on the water's effect, I think. Okay, well, I had to dodge, which is more than I can say for some Pinwheel fights. Yeah, but I've also never taken advantage of that. um, I don't know. Weak 2 would be an understatement if that's the only use case that you're referring to then. I feel like elemental weaknesses in general are kind of pointless in Dark Souls 1 for the most part. Unless you're doing a specific like elemental build or dealing with the DLC. And then you can't use any elements at all. I don't know. I changed those resistances. I just don't remember what I changed them to. I'm excited to do the 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 axe, the pole axe, Patch's pole axe, the crescent axe. There it is. I'm excited to do the run with that, which is the week after the Moonlight Greatsword. I think that's going to be a fun run, just because getting the weapon is kind of fun, and then I like the moveset on it. I believe it's also in the Halberd class, which is funny. Because they wanted the DLC to be hard, question mark, and buffs kind of trivialize the base game in a lot of ways. I mean, buffs do matter in the DLC. Like, if you're doing hyper mode, buffs are extremely important still. But for the casual playthrough, they don't matter at all. Then they are probably more detrimental than anything if you're trying to pay attention to your buffs and stuff, and that takes your attention away from the bosses that you're trying to learn. So, I don't know. It is unfortunate that they decided to do that. I did decrease a lot of their elemental resistances so that elements will be usable in the DLC, but I kept a lot of them pretty high and gave certain bosses certain weaknesses. Um, Calamite is technically weak to lightning, very slightly, which is really funny. But his main weakness is definitely strike damage. So, like, a lightning great club. Well, no. Yeah, probably a lightning great club would be the best option for him base game. Well, no, scaling would be more important, actually. Yeah, just a great club. It's probably the best weapon to use against Calamite. Let me put humanity here just in case. Both. I think gold pine resin. Gold pine resin does almost maybe half as much as sunlight blade. I don't remember actually. It's not as good as lightning blade, but it's still like way, way better than charcoal pine resin. Oh, that's not good. Ugh. I forgot I had to care about stamina. Because my stamina is so much higher than it usually is. Probably should have grabbed the wolf ring, but it's fine. Hey, thanks, Nito. This is technically damage. Maybe a little bit lower than I would have preferred, but not detrimental by any means. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh god. I think I'm gonna get hit. Okay, well, I got hit, but not by the thing I thought I was gonna get hit by. Oh my god. This would probably be a good time to use the weapon art, actually, just because it pierces. Yeah. Maybe not when he's charging the AoE, but... I don't know, I think that was a pretty good use of that. If anything's gonna be. Uh, excuse me. That was a very poor choice, but it's fine. I have enough health to deal with it. And Nito does not. There we go. Yeah, cool. First try Nito. I was a little bit worried just because Dragon Form means no armor, but whatever. Ended up being easy. Definitely helps that I have 40 health. Team Ninja games? I don't know what games that would be. I don't pay attention to developers or publishers most of the time. If you name a couple, though, I can let you know if I played them. Like Neo? I tried Neo. I tried both Neo games, and I disliked both of them. I didn't like the stance system. I didn't like the combat very much. I don't know. Neo is just kind of for me. Very much not my cup of tea when it comes to Souls-likes. I tried to play. There have been a lot of Souls-likes that I've tried to like play and enjoy that I just didn't very much. Like the Surge comes to mind. I did not like the Surge only because of the level design. I played the demo. I own the games. But before I did, I played the demo and it was just so Ugh, it was impossible for me to navigate. I'm sure if I went back to it now, I probably would like it more, but it was just so difficult for me to navigate. And the combat didn't make it fun enough for me to get over that. Um, like at first, I didn't like the level design of Thymesia, but I ended up liking the combat enough for me to just deal with it and continue playing the game. And I started liking the level design a lot more, but that just didn't happen with the Surge at the time. Um, or there's like, what was the anime one? I don't know. I got decently. Oops, my finger slipped. I got decently. What? Oh, my cord pressed the button. Okay. I got decently far into that game. I was fighting like a butterfly boss. Yeah, Code Vein. There's a butterfly boss, and I almost beat it, and I died. So I decided to take a break, and I never went back to it. No idea how far that is in terms of like the whole game, but I played a decent amount of time. Oh yeah, I do have the chart orange ring on, just because I forgot. It's not like any other rings are going to be particularly useful right now, though. I broke favor and protection, but that's just because I didn't need it at all. Hell point? Huh. I don't know that I've even heard of that one, actually. Oh, okay. I was gonna grab the dress and put it on with the dragon headstone, but never mind. Unfortunate. Steel Rising was fun. I enjoyed Steel Rising. It was kind of disappointing that you could cheese the whole thing with the ice gun that you get in the tutorial. Is that the tutorial or is it a starting weapon? I don't know. There's an ice gun that you can get that just trivializes the entire game a lot. And then you just like use the spin attack on the double blades over and over. That I try to do a jump attack. Oh my god. I didn't get hit. Okay. Anyway, so that was, I mean, it was still a fun game. It's just kind of disappointing that you could do that. I've played the demo of Liza P and really did not like it, but everyone is saying how amazing Liza P is. So I want to do a recorded playthrough of it, like I did with Dark Souls 3, and I'm working on with Dark Souls 2. I just haven't gotten around to it because I don't want to play Liza P because I did not like the demo at all. Mostly because the deflect system just sucked. I don't know if they changed it at all, but it was so useless in the demo. Like walking backward was more effective and significantly easier than deflecting because there was no benefit to using the deflects at all. So, again, I don't know if they changed that, but okay. Oh my god, I got hit by the Sanctuary Guardian twice. What's happening? I guess I do no damage, but like, I don't know. At least I actually got to fight the Sanctuary Guardian this time. That is very fortunate. I got to not obliterate it in 3 hits. There we go. Oh, maybe I did play Hellpoint a little bit. I don't remember. Again, I don't know if it was just the demo, but there was literally no reason to use deflex whatsoever. It was just a more difficult dodge. I'll have to play it eventually. I don't know. It's probably going to be one of those ones where everyone loves it, and then I play it, and it's like, it's fine, I guess. That is my prediction when it comes to whether or not I'll enjoy Lies of P. That's just wrong, though. The parry lets you deal a ton of damage, significantly more damage especially depending on your weapon, than just a simple dodge would. Parrying is objectively better than dodging if you are able to do it 100% of the time, unless you can't riposte the enemy, like, I don't know, the Baronite Knights or whatever. Deflex didn't give you an opportunity to deal damage in the demo. They just didn't. They didn't like stagger the enemy. They didn't deal damage on their own or anything. Like, they did not do anything in the demo. I don't know what they do in the full game, and I don't want you to tell me because I want to figure it out when I play it. But they didn't do anything in the demo. Full stop. Also, I'm not saying dodging. I'm saying walking backward because it gives you an opportunity to restore your stamina. It takes you completely out of danger. But again, that was a demo. I haven't played the full game, so I don't know how it's different. And again, I want to figure it out when I play it, so I don't want to be told. I should probably use repair before I forget. I ended up breaking my weapon in the middle of a boss fight. I guess at that point, then I would have a repair cast, but I don't want to deal with trying to cast repair in the middle of an Artorias fight. I'm not going to worry about healing, I don't think, because... oh, excuse me. RTSR is good, but... Oh, speaking of ripostes, in my mod, I gave halberds a significantly better riposte, because I feel like that made sense. I think they have a slight modifier. I think half the modifier that daggers have, but still more than other weapons. Okay, yeah, this damage is not amazing. We'll see where it goes with Manus. Ooh, ouch. Need to be a little bit more careful about this. I don't know, unless I want to just try to get hit for RTSR. Is it 3? It's 3. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, shoving the blunt end of a scythe through someone has gotta hurt, at least a little bit. A little bit more than being stabbed with a sharp weapon. Like, they both gotta hurt, but like, I don't know. Something tells me that having a blunt end of a weapon shoved through you would do a bit more damage. Okay. Just gotta be a little bit careful here. As long as he doesn't buff, he's not gonna like one-shot me from this health, I don't think. Even without armor, so don't need to worry too much. And I think it should put me in RTSR range if he does hit me. Unless it's like the lunging stab. That would probably kill me in one hit. Or the jump attack. Or like 3 front flips. But those are easy to dodge, that's okay. That was very greedy. Very unnecessary attack there. Only because of how much stamina I had. Or didn't have, I guess. Okay, come on. Come on. Scary. Everything's fine. Uh-oh. Very not good. Okay, we're good. Everything's fine. Yeah, exactly. You'd have to, like, shove. It wouldn't just be like a poke. You'd have to push everything out of the way. No. Everything's fine. I keep trying to jump attack and failing. Okay. Couple more. There we go. No RTSR even. I think I did drop my first Soul Level 1 attempt, but I don't... No, I didn't. Did I? I don't know. I feel like I did, but if I don't even remember if I did, I guess I couldn't tell you when it happened, but I do have memories of attempting and failing a Soul Level 1 playthrough because I didn't understand the game. But then eventually I just did it with Pyromancy and the giant blacksmith hammer. And then I struggled on Gwyn for a while, but just got a fire reinforced club and parried him to death. I haven't done Dark Souls 2 Soul Level 1 yet, just because if I do, I feel like I'm going to have to do all the bosses. And I've only ever beat all the bosses in Dark Souls 2 once because of Ludden Zullen and a couple others. Dark Lurker I've only beat once, maybe twice actually. I don't know. A lot of bosses in Dark Souls 2 I don't like getting to, whether or not the boss itself is fun. But I would definitely want to do all the bosses in a Soul Level 1 playthrough. Oh, I also haven't beat Suralan more than once. I really do not like that fight. Or the run to it or anything. Yeah, Dark Lurker is awful. Dark Lurker, the fight is fine, but the run up to Dark Lurker is pretty awful. Can't imagine how much worse it would be at Soul Level 1, though. Yeah, I really don't like Suralan. I know a lot of people really like Suralan, but yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of boring, but also frustrating in a lot of ways. Dark Lurker was too hard. You just stand under one while wailing on the other. I don't know. I didn't find that the fight that difficult, to be honest. I don't know. I think Suralan is more like Manus in that it sucks to learn and is one of the worst fights to learn. I don't know why I killed that mimic. Um, but once you learn it, it's really easy. I also like the shiny floor. That is probably my favorite thing about that fight. Which, granted, isn't saying a lot, but I do like the shiny floor. Okay. Hardest part of the DLC. There's an item over there? I have no idea what that is. Ouch. Case in point. Hardest part of the DLC. What the? Wait, what is that? How do you get there? What? Hold on. Now I'm curious. I've never noticed that item. Am I, like, just blind, or are there certain conditions you need to meet to find that item? Oh god. Of course. I guess that's pretty weak poison, so it doesn't matter, but still annoying. What? Wait. Am I losing my mind? Was there not an item there? um, am I insane? Hold on. Something's... How do you even get up here, though? It looked like an item shine, and you can't even get up here. What? Okay, I'll have to go back after the stream and check what that was. I have no idea. Very strange. Maybe like something from a different map that rendered? Maybe something fell. Oh, true. Where is this in relation to everything else? I don't know. I'll have to check later. That's a very good theory. Huh. That was very strange. My brain was not functioning very well there. I was baffled. Okay. Anyway, Manus. Clipping to the wall, but there's nothing on the other side of that wall is a thing. In fact, I'm pretty sure on the other side of that wall is out of bounds, specifically where it was, because the walls in there are so thick. I don't know. Again, I'll have to check after stream. I can just open it up in Smithbox and see where that is in relation to everything else. Should be pretty obvious. If something fell with that. I guess I can do that on stream too. After I fight Manus, I'll do that. Just because I'm curious. And I'm not actually sure the layout of the DLC in terms of the seal itself. Okay. Come down here. Come on. Please, hurry. Oh, the humanity. Yeah, if something fell, it definitely was a bloat head. I just don't know where it would have fallen. Maybe on that one bridge with the sorcerer on the other side. If I had to guess. One of the ones that fell off there. Or maybe the sorcerer itself. Okay. Okay, that was greedy. Don't need to be greedy with Manus. It's just Manus. This shouldn't be too long of a fight. Even with the somewhat lackluster damage. I've done less. I've done hit less with less. Oh my god. I forgot about that attack. I never remember that one, to be honest. Taking a drink of water in the middle of a boss fight might not be the best idea, but... Oh. Okay. That's not good damage. No. Okay, well. At least a hit. I'm trying to do the jump attack. I swear I'm doing the input correctly. Maybe I should stop trying to jump attack before I break the weapon and have to use a repair in the middle of the fight. That was greedy. Okay, everything's fine. Of course. I'm so used to that having a follow-up, huh? I swear I'm pressing forward on my control stick. I promise. See, there we go. I don't know, I guess that's not that much better damage than just attacking twice. If better at all. Okay, that's gonna take too long. Okay, we're fine. I don't know why I healed, to be honest. RTSR would probably be the better play here. Okay. I'm being impatient. It's just Manus. It's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Okay. It's just Manus. Just don't be impatient, and it's an easy fight. That was greedy. Yep. I don't know why I'm so terrible at dodging that attack specifically. It occurs to me that I should probably be attempting to talk during the boss fight, just because there's no game audio, but it is difficult. Hopefully, my lack of speech isn't too grating, especially when it's difficult to come up with conversation topics in the middle of the fight. Ugh, I still suck at dodging that one though. Tiny slivers of yellow? Question mark. Oh god, no, I'm dead. I'm fine. Everything's fine. We're good. I don't know why I tried to do that. I genuinely have no idea what went through my head when I did that. That was pure skill issue on my part. Oh, health bar yellow, yeah. That was very greedy. I was also very lucky. Okay. I did it. Cool. Oh, gotta wake up Dusk real quick. Oh, right. That'll kill her because the dragon jump attack. Okay, never mind. Sorry, Dusk. You gotta sleep forever, I guess. I'm gonna open Smithbox real quick just so I can see what was going on with that. Let me change my my thing so you can actually see what I'm looking at. There it is. Okay. Show that. I'm genuinely just really curious. Yeah, it deserves a little nap. It would be... I don't actually know the layout of this place very well at all. Down here, right? This is where you fight the prisoner. Yeah, I was right. It was right here. Okay. I bet it was either... No, this one fell right here, didn't it? I bet it was this one that fell off there. That makes a lot more sense. Oh, why did that default to Steam? What? I'm very glad it didn't... Well, actually, I guess I don't really have any windows that I wouldn't want to be seen, but strange. Anyway, back to Dark Souls. Level 69. Perfect. It's funny that it happened to fall exactly right there, too. It's a little bit to the side, and it wouldn't have landed there at all. Okay, rest for the 20 Estus. I forgot to level up my Estus at all this stream, but it's fine. Guess I don't really need that anymore. I was playing through my mod, oh, excuse me, and messing with like balance and stuff before streaming. I'll probably go back to doing that after this if I don't end up playing again with someone or whatever. And I've been playing through that on mouse and keyboard, which helps with like me being able to not be bad at the game. Because like I want to be able to play it without just obliterating everything instantly. And it is, I don't know why I grabbed that. It is helping with that, but it's also very strange to play with a completely different control style. It's not as bad as I thought it was, but it's very difficult to get used to. Once you get used to it, it's, I don't know. It's just like playing Dark Souls with maybe a little bit less control in the menus or whatever. Mouse and keyboard controls make Dark Souls menus very confusing to me. Though, to be fair, they were already extremely confusing when I first was learning them on controller. So, I don't know, very strange to be playing through like that, but also very fun to be able to be able to like make a mod, and I don't know, it's been a lot of fun. Hello, Loot Crate, welcome. Hope you enjoy the last 5 minutes of the stream. I don't know, it's a lot more convenient when modding because it's easy to just press 2 buttons and then change a value and then switch back and not have to pick up a controller. It's just very much not what I'm used to. Okay, I have, yeah, okay. Hornet Ring is on. Okay, that is technically damage. First challenge run. Yeah, I never did that as a challenge run just because I didn't think it would be interesting. Like, I don't know, it's just playing through Dark Souls normally, right? Oops, skill issue. You just kind of have less control of your character if you're not used to it. So, I don't know. I also never wanted to make a video, like, with using the keyboard as a quote-unquote challenge run because I just didn't think it'd be visually interesting. Yeah. But, you know, it is fun to learn a new control style, and I think that is a valid challenge run if you're not already used to it. I'm going to go ahead and use DSR Gadget to store my position outside the boss fight so I don't have to back up my save, and so I don't have to run through this every time. I guess I can also do this, but this feels more cheaty than backing up my save. It's also very difficult to cross this at this speed. I've fallen off trying to do that many times. Okay. Actually doing that, I was recording for something where like having that speed didn't matter. I was just trying to get footage for something. And falling off of that several times actually gave me the idea for the double speed challenge run that I did, which ended up being pretty fun. Challenge run would have been an overstatement. It was just Dark Souls, but slightly fewer iframes, but also I can just walk away from the enemy anyway. So that's unfortunate. Good timing. Hopefully I'll be able to beat him this attempt. Assuming I don't suffer from skill issue or being spammed with quick attacks. Or grabs. Grabs are also annoying. Hey, reacted to fast slash on stream. That's crazy. Maybe I am good at the video game. Okay, never mind. One more. There it is. All right, Drake Sword. Is it good? Not really, but it's fine. It's like a backup melee option instead of a raw weapon or whatever. Though most raw weapons would probably end up being better if you're doing like a pyro playthrough or something. But like if you are doing a pyro playthrough, you're probably going to have damage stats anyway because you're not going to be spending souls on levels at all. I don't know. It's fine, I guess, but maybe not as a main weapon. It's all right, yeah. All right. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I love you all, and I don't know how to end this.